are chomping at the bit to bring the series to a close, while Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks are simply hoping to climb back up on their feet. Madison Square Garden at playoff time. Knicks fans proved last season the effect they could have on this team. One game from elimination at the hands of the Boston Celtics. Kenny Walker came through in the clutch, and the Knicks went on to take the series. Tonight, Coach John McLeod must find a way for the Knicks to recapture that enthusiasm or face the reality that the season will come to a conclusion. Welcome to Madison Square Garden in New York for game number 3 of the best-of-5 series between the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. This is a busy night throughout the NBA. In the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee hopes to avert elimination. They are down 2-0. Boston and Indiana tied at 1 resume tomorrow night, and Detroit and Atlanta even at 1 meet this evening in Atlanta. In the West, 3 games going tonight, with Portland and Los Angeles seeking a sweep. The other series tied at 1. Hi everybody, I'm Marv Albert along with John Andres, and for the New York Knicks, the season has come down to tonight. And again, it has come down to tonight for Patrick Ewing, who did get going in the first half on Sunday afternoon at Chicago, but then had his difficulties. He finished up only 1 for his last 11 from the field.
Kind of ironic, when Bill Cartwright was here as a member of the Knicks, you never thought of him as a defensive stopper, but that is what has happened when he's played against Patrick Ewing, and he has risen in the playoffs as he did on Sunday once again. Bill Cartwright not allowing Ewing the low post position that Ewing is fighting desperately for. And on occasions in the second half, Patrick was forced to settle for less, as he did at one point, taking a jump shot way out of position, which resulted in an air ball, and that only made things much better for the Chicago Bulls. And in the matchup so far in the 2 games, Ewing way below average. 15 a game, 38% from the field, 8 rebounds, and Cartwright far behind him. But when you contrast the numbers of what he has done to Ewing, those are very big numbers for Bill Cartwright.
And the Knicks yesterday did quite a bit of work in practice to make certain that Maurice Cheeks and Patrick Ewing were on the same page in terms of getting the ball down low to Ewing.
Yes, they talked it over, and it's very important that players communicate as they did in practice yesterday. That's something with the many Knick problems that have occurred, that you got the feeling that they weren't communicating, but that clearly showed that Cheeks and Ewing were talking things over, hoping that tonight will result in a different outcome.
Well, the Bulls have won the first 2, although they have received what can be labeled workmanlike efforts from Michael Jordan, well below Jordan standards. But what that has led to is the fact that the Bulls have gotten excellent balance. It's been a true team effort over the first 2 games, but you know how Michael loves to play in New York, and you get the idea, and an explosion could be in the offing.
Well, Chicago has its own unique atmosphere, but so does New York. And as you say, Marv, it wouldn't be surprising to see Jordan want to be on the floor for a long time tonight, which he has not been in both games, and really turn it on. But against the Knicks, he had it when necessary. He had the jump shot working on Sunday afternoon. He also had the drives to the basket, sometimes very spectacular. When needed, Jordan has had it, and he certainly has been enough against the Knicks, although, as you mentioned, below Jordan standards, but Michael has had some fairly decent numbers by NBA standards. In the 2-game average thus far, he's had a 27-point average, excellent field goal percentage, 17 of 18 from the foul line, and his rebounds and assists identical, and his steals always dangerous. He'll steal the ball, and perhaps more in the coming game tonight if the Knicks aren't careful.
All right, the Knicks and the Bulls have just completed their pregame warm-ups. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden as we get set for the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's go to the public address. Here's Mike Wlosewski.
It's game 3 of the best-of-5 NBA Eastern Conference first-round playoffs, featuring the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knickerbockers. Here are the starting lineups. First for the Bulls. At the guards, number 5, John Paxson. And number 23, Captain Michael Jordan. At the forwards, number 33, Scottie Pippen. And number 54, Horace Grant. At center, number 24, Bill Cartwright. The trainer is Chip Schaefer. The assistant coaches, John Bach, Jim Clemens, and Tex Winter. And the head coach, Phil Jackson. Knickerbockers. At the guards, number 1, Maurice Cheeks. And number 21, Gerald Wilkins. At the forwards, number 34, Charles Oakley. And number 55, Kiki Vandoy. Center, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The assistant trainer is Tim Walsh. The trainer is Mike Saunders. Assistant coaches Paul Silas, Chip Van Gundy, and Bob Salmi. And the head coach, John McLeod.
Well, John, new look introductions here at Madison Square Garden, something the Chicago Bulls are accustomed to as we approach Game 3 of this best-of-5 at the Bulls shoot-around. Earlier today, we chatted with Michael Jordan and asked for his outlook at tonight's performance.
Yeah, that's our initiative, is to come in and win tonight and certainly try to put things behind us and put them out of their misery if we can. Certainly it's not going to be easy. We know that. We're not coming in here and feeling that we're going to beat them by 4-1 here in this place. We know it's going to be a dogfight. But hopefully our experience of being in this situation before will enhance our chances of going in and winning the ball game and getting some rest.
Well, Michael, being the nice guy that he is, says, hey, we'd just like to put them out of their misery.
How considerate of him.
The officials tonight are Darryl Garretson, Steve Javy, and Don Vaden as Patrick Ewing gets set to go against Bill Cartwright. Game 1, a 41-point blowout by the Bulls. That was last Thursday in Chicago. Sunday afternoon at Chicago Stadium, a grinding 89-79 win by the Bulls, who took charge in the fourth quarter. Knicks played well in the first half. Phil Jackson most concerned about the fact that his club was beaten off the boards.
Well, Marv, Gerald Wilkins now in the starting lineup for the Knicks as Ewing opens it up quickly in familiar surroundings. But Gerald is back for the first time since March 28th against Golden State, the night he was hurt.
As Gerald sitting it out with that sprained ankle, missed 11 games and did get back into it in time for the playoffs. He has looked a bit on the rusty side. Here's Jordan. He was picked up by the double team, and Grant able to bank it home.
You know, Harvey Grant did not mean to do that. You never aim for the backboard straight away, but how lucky he was. Horace Grant, Harvey Grant. I've been thinking so much about Harvey lately as NBA's most improved player.
Nice attempted recovery as Maurice Cheeks gives the Knicks a 4-2 lead. Maurice comes off a good one on Sunday, hit 7 of 10 for 15 points. Scottie Pippen got the step. Yes. And the basket counts. Scottie Pippen sat out practice yesterday with a bruised hip, but he said no way that he'd miss here tonight.
Well, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that's what Pippen voted for. He just faded right and then went straight to the hoop by Vandeweghe. And oh, how John McLeod desires that kind of movement from his team as the Knicks will try and draw fouls, as Pippen just did.
Ewing picked up the foul, and the Bulls take a 5-4 lead. Early pressure. Patrick Ewing waiting at center court. John McLeod telling us that he likes having Ewing handle the ball. He has been successful by using Ewing in that manner. Knicks did have some problems on Sunday. That was last touched by Chicago when they went to Charles Oakley at center court as the man to penetrate to the front court against the press, and it did not work.
Grant is so mobile, and that creates a lot of problems for Oakley as well, whereas Cartwright doesn't have the mobility to stay with Ewing.
Here's Ewing, stopped from behind by Jordan. So Phil Jackson going with some double teaming of Ewing. Jordan will drop back from time to time. They double up on Cartwright, and a foul is called. This also by design as Maurice Cheeks picks it up. John McLeod feels that once Cartwright commits to his move, he can be stripped, and he has difficulty throwing it back outside.
Knicks opening up once again with Oakley on the bigger Bill Cartwright. Part of the plan, of course, to keep Ewing out of foul trouble.
Bulls with a 5-4 lead. 2 minutes gone by. So Grant is being guarded by Ewing. And Michael Jordan, it's on his first field goal attempt. Bulls 7, Knicks 4.
Well, Michael fell behind a pick, and it was easy for him. No one could get there.
The basket counts. It's a goaltend. And right off the start of this game, you can see the intent of Maurice Cheeks is to get involved offensively.
Well, Maurice bringing back memories here in the opening minutes of his incredible effort last year in Boston against the Celtics in Game 5, when he played the full 48 and truly did it all in that game.
Earlier on Knicks game night, you may have seen John McLeod during the course of practice telling both Maurice Cheeks and Kiki Vandeweghe that they must shoot more. John has been utilizing that philosophy regarding Cheeks right throughout the season. Here's Pippen around Oakley. And he just did beat the 24-second buzzer. Bulls with a 9-6 lead. Wilkins guarded by Pippen. That's a three-pointer. Gerald Wilkins hits from downtown, and the game is tied at 9.
Well, that's a bonus, and that's a dimension the Knicks missed Sunday. The Knicks want Gerald out there for this kind of motion that Pippen is providing, but the threes are welcome.
Ewing on the rejection. Wilkins over Paxson.
Oh, is John McLeod happy? That's why Gerald is back in the starting lineup tonight.
Phil Jackson wants a 20-second timeout. A good burst by the Knicks as they take an 11-9 lead.
Well, Pippen has started out going to the hoop many times. He got off a weak shot. Ewing was there to reject the follow-up. And Patrick dribbling the ball beautifully as a forward. And then Gerald Wilkins in the right spot at the right time. Another look at it now. Ewing on the rejection, clears himself as well as a big man can do, and Wilkins flying with one dribble, covering a lot of ground in the air like, you know, his hero Michael Jordan.
Three minutes, 5 seconds gone by in this first quarter. So the early 20 taken by Phil Jackson, Grant, and Ewing on the rebound.
Ewing laid way off Grant, letting him shoot as he is guarding Grant instead of Cartwright, and then he just swept right in for that rebound.
Here's Oakley. And Grant able to get to it. The other reason that John McLeod is happy with the early play of Gerald Wilkins is he looks for Wilkins to occupy Jordan at the other end. From time to time, that has worked well. Gerald has had some good games against Michael Jordan. John Paxson, who has not been shooting well, able to convert, and the game is tied at 11.
The Knicks getting a taste of the balance the new look Chicago Bulls of 90-91 have now. Everybody contributing.
Wilkins gets it out to Cheeks. And here come the Bulls. Pippen decides to slow it down. Knicks got back. He had Paxson open, did not see him. Now Pippen backing Vandeweghe. Cartwright. And he'll go to the foul line. Hard driving move by Bill Cartwright. Foul called on Vandeweghe. That's the first on Vandeweghe. Cartwright will shoot a pair.
As usual, Ewing will be presented with a very interesting challenge, and that is to be aggressive, to be a defensive presence, and yet not get in foul trouble.
Bill Cartwright had a solid game on Sunday. Did a key jump shot down the stretch. Looking to go offensive at the start and did his usual good job on Patrick Ewing. Ewing got off to the fast start. He had 14 points in the first quarter. And then the combination of Cartwright and Purdue did a good job in keeping Ewing away from the basket. 13-11 Bulls. Here's the pressure by Chicago. Now the Knicks have no trouble with it. Vandeweghe from Oakley. A beautiful pass thrown on the hop by Oakley.
Boy, that was clinically done. Get the ball to the middle, then to the sides, and up for the layup.
Knicks by 2. And Pippen again easily beats Vandeweghe.
This is happening too much for Kiki Vandeweghe. He's got to change, or he will be changed on the floor.
Pippen has hit 3 out of 4. Bulls lead 15-13, and the Knicks take a timeout. Games of this series, Kiki Vandeweghe, Gerald Wilkins, and Trent Tucker have all struggled, and that also led to the problems of Patrick Ewing. They could successfully double-team Ewing. However, tonight, Knicks have hit a couple from the outside, and I know they're looking at that as a good sign, although we're very early.
Balance is what's needed by the Knicks. And as John McLeod said to his team yesterday, the best efforts possible have to come out of every player.
Bulls with a 2-point lead. 5 on the shot clock. And Ewing's pass goes astray. It will be Chicago ball. Now the Knicks come with some light pressure. And Paxson moves it across. Both clubs remaining the same following the timeout. Vandeweghe picking up on Jordan. Michael Jordan with a gorgeous move to his left and then hits on the pull-up.
And what terrific help Vandeweghe got from Gerald Wilkins, who was right up there with him, but not high enough.
Bulls with a 17-13 lead. Vandeweghe around Pippen. 17-15 Chicago. Kiki with 4 points.
That was artistry, how he went baseline and still made the backboard his friend on the final part of the shot.
And John McLeod is going now with Vandeweghe on Jordan. He said he might do that from time to time on Sunday. In effect, he's conceding Jordan's points. Grant with the rebound. And Oakley gets to him. He's figuring, hey, Jordan's going to score his 35, 40 points. Cheeks putting the speed on. What a roll by Maurice Cheeks, and he's tied the game at 17 off the steal.
Kiki Vandeweghe alertly turning around on that inbounds pass and getting it.
And now it's Jordan on Vandeweghe. And he drew the foul. And Kiki has been very significant. Last minute and a half. Foul called on Pippen. Vandeweghe to the line.
Marv, the interesting thing was Vandeweghe was being killed by Pippen and on the verge of heading to the bench if a coach philosophizes in one direction. But no, John McLeod made the adjustment, took Vandeweghe off Pippen, who was going around him, put the quicker Gerald Wilkins on Pippen and Vandeweghe on Jordan. I think possibly it could The reason for this switch is that Pippen was turning out to be Michael Jordan here in the opening moments, as we see Vandeweghe alertly getting that last inbounds pass. So McLeod wanted to put the Pippen fire out and not worry about Jordan for the moment.
He was toying with doing that on Sunday. He felt he'd rather try to curtail the scoring exploits of Pippen and Paxson and figure, hey, Jordan's going to get his numbers anyway. Let's see how he plays it now. It is Wilkins on Paxson, and Vandeweghe remaining the defender with Jordan, and Pippen able to slither in.
Well, he got on that mismatch Maurice Cheeks on the pickup, and what a lovely pass by Paxson inside. Boy, they hit the money right away when they had the advantage.
Game tied at 19. 5 minutes left, first quarter. Vandeweghe, yes. 21-19 Knicks.
What a wonderful feeling to do it to the guy who's been doing it to you, as Vandeweghe did to Pippen.
Jordan. And Oakley able to get to it. Michael Jordan now 2 out of 3. He has 4 points. Last touch by the Bulls. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutman, Walt Clyde Frazier from Madison Square Garden. Game 3 of the best of 5. The Knicks hoping to stay alive and force a 4th game here on Thursday. Bad pass, and it will be Chicago ball.
Bounce passes, please.
Knicks with a 2-point lead. Paxson being forced to work to bring it up court. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Pippen with the open shot. And Oakley with the one-hand rebound. Very dangerous. Grant nearly stripped him.
He's owning the defensive boards. The Knicks are getting strong work on the boards.
That 3 by Wilkins off. Ewing back up. And the Knicks lead at 23-19.
It's looking very solid. One thing, despite the fact the Bulls have won the first 2 and all the look is that of domination, one thing the Bulls are fearing, and they're tasting it now, the Knicks rebounding. The Knicks killed them on the board Sunday, and they are owning the boards tonight in the early going.
Knicks in the midst of a 10-2 run. Make it 12-2 as Joe Wilkins extends to a 25-19 lead. The Knicks have come out alive in this first quarter with 3:33 remaining. And the Bulls want to talk it over.
Well, the opening moments of this game saw Scottie Pippen running by Kiki Vandeweghe. Knicks made a defensive adjustment. Vandeweghe got involved with Jordan, and then his offense has come to life in a big way. And he returned the favor to Pippen on that beautiful drive. But in an off-balance defensive situation, the Bulls struck quickly. Pippen being guarded by Cheeks, and they got 2 points out of it. Vandeweghe's come right back into this to make things a little interesting for his opponent tonight.
And the Knicks lead at 25-19. 3:33 remaining in this first quarter. Grant. That is his second field goal. He has 4. The Knicks lead is now 4.
On the basket, Ewing took off and had Grant beaten down court, but the Knicks didn't see him.
Holding foul being indicated by Steve Javie. The Knicks upset about the officiating back in Game 2. Cartwright called for the foul, but if you step away from it, John, the Bulls were doing the driving and moving toward the basket. That's why they're getting the calls. Officiating did not lose Game 2.
That's what John McLeod has sung to his team. You've got to take the ball to the basket.
Ewing, who again is pumping jump shots. Patrick Ewing now 2 out of 4 from the field. Cartwright feeling for Ewing and then guns it back out. Good ball movement. Michael Jordan with his 3rd field goal. He has 6. And the Knicks lead is now 2 points.
No matter what the situation, the man guarding Jordan cannot be concerned about double teaming other people. Vandeweghe's got to stay up on Jordan no matter where the ball is.
Ewing setting the pick. And Wilkins, he's off to the fast start. He's 4 out of 5 from the field nearly his 9 points and includes a three-pointer. The Knicks lead at 27-23.
Paxson made Wilkins change his move to the basket, and Wilkins did it effortlessly.
Excellent play by Wilkins, reaching in for the steal. Wilkins from deep. Yes. He's on fire. 11 for Gerald Wilkins. And the Knicks lead 29-23.
Well, Gerald is the surprise element, and what a pleasant surprise it is for the Knicks. As you know, Phil Jackson and his team have not seen this kind of play from Gerald.
Gerald missing 3 weeks with a sprained ankle. Came off the bench the first 2 games of the series. Pippen's pass ends up in the crowd, and the Knicks looking to take advantage of the turnover, get it down to Vandeweghe.
Jordan made him take a shot instead of a layup because he was up so high.
Minute and a half left, first quarter. Jordan lost the handle, and a foul on the Knicks. Oakley called for the reach-in. That is his first.
What's vital for the Knicks is that they have made their statement to the Bulls early in the game. And that is, we are going to play with confidence. We want to win this game. We are not a dead team, and we can play together. And that's the statement the Knicks have made to the Bulls themselves and the fans here.
Vandeweghe sitting down. Heard it from the crowd. Leads with 8 points. And Brian Quinnett has checked in. Now it is Quinnett guarding Jordan. Knicks went with this matchup earlier this season. Good play to stop Pippen, and Jordan blew around Quinnett on several occasions. Wilkins dished it off. Here comes Jordan for Pippen. And the Knicks now lead 29-25. Pressure by Pippen on the inbounds. Down to 1 minute left in this opening quarter.
That is so beautiful, a play like that. Jordan and Pippen, you rarely see them together at the end of a break.
And Grant able to get to it on the box out. Jordan for 3. And it will be Nick Ball.
The last basket by the Bulls with Jordan leading the break, unselfishly rifling that pass to Pippen, who finishes it as only he can.
Brett Tucker has checked in, replacing Gerald Wilkins. And Gerald hears the applause. Sits down with 11. Look out, Oakley handling and firing one that is run down by Tucker. Knicks by 4. They're down to 10 on the shot clock. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's Ewing. Oh, beautiful move. Patrick Ewing with the change of direction. Knicks by 6. Final seconds of the quarter. Here is Jordan. A good quarter for the Knicks. And the crowd responds. The Knicks 31 and the Bulls 25. It's a 31-25 Knicks lead over the Chicago Bulls. And John, we have some vintage footage involving Michael Jordan. It was back in 1984 during preseason when Michael Jordan first reported to the Chicago Bulls, and he was still a curiosity in the league. One time, Chicago Bulls coach Kevin Lockery was asked, did he feel that Jordan could turn the fortunes of the Bulls around by himself? Listen to this response.
A 7-footer, and if he was 7 feet, he could, I think, with that type talent he has. But unfortunately, this game is played by the 7-footers, a big part of the game. He can obviously improve a basketball team, but there hasn't been a guard come in the NBA that has been able to turn the team around totally in the history of the game.
Well, the electronic wizard pulling that one out of his files, but I think Kevin Lockery was really just trying to soften the pressure as Tucker extends the Knicks lead to 33-25. Michael Jordan was the 3rd overall pick behind a couple of 7-footers, Sam Bowie of Portland and Hakeem Olajuwon by Houston, and he was trying to take the pressure off. Cartwright cuts it to 33-27. So Kevin said, no, I don't think there's any guard out there that can take a club all the way. As it turns out, Michael Jordan is in a situation where that certainly could happen with this Chicago squad.
Well, Michael's success, though, and I'm sure he'd be the first to point it out now this year, is attributable to the development of his team. And I think you're right, Marv. As the Knicks work it inside successfully to Oakley, the beautiful pass made it easy for Oakley. But Michael now, of course, as you look back, take another look at that nice pass inside. Quinnett with a beautiful lead pass. Grant tried to steal it, and execution was perfect. But also, Lockery was restating history. I can think of Jerry West coming out in 1960 having a great impact immediately in the league, but nobody like Jordan. But Kevin was just going on the history of the league as well. And nobody has done landed like he did in this league.
Michael Jordan sitting down, leads with 6 points. Foul on Grant, putting Oakley at the line. And Charles has extended to a 36-27 lead. Mark Jackson and Trent Tucker now in the backcourt. Oakley up front with Quinnett and Ewing. Here is Cartwright.
What a force Oakley was on that rebound.
Quinnett rejected by Pippen. What a play by Scottie Pippen. And it will be Knick ball.
As Pippen knocked it out of bounds as the Bulls tried to ignite a break. Quinnett going up a little softly. Pippen right there. Ewing giving his best effort. Pippen knocked it out then.
Will Perdue has replaced Bill Cartwright. Cartwright leads with a field goal, 2 from the line for 4. Perdue played well on Sunday. Gerard Mustaf, broken nose and all, checking in to give Patrick Ewing a rest. Gerard taking a shot on Sunday. Here's Jackson. Quinnett. That shot was deflected. Pippen. Oh, what a move by Scottie Pippen. He has 13.
You see the contrast. Quinnett's soft move to the basket, and you see at the other end Quinnett exploding as he gets closer.
Knicks want a timeout. Well, a moment ago, the Knicks had a 9-point lead, their biggest of the game, and this is the biggest lead that they have enjoyed in this series. 2:20 gone by in the second. The Knicks now lead it by 7.
Both teams going to the bench, but Pippen has really been the main man for the Bulls here in the early going as he moved so fast to the hoop on that play.
Well, John, this program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited. High point men of the game. The Bulls led by Scottie Pippen, who has 13. And the Knicks sparked by Gerald Wilkins in the first quarter. Wilkins with 11. Vandeweghe with 8. And both clubs shooting well. The Knicks have opened up very strong at 16 for 26.
So important that the Knicks shoot the ball well. When you get finished all of the analyzing of this game and how intricate you can make it, you've got to shoot the ball at a good percentage. That's what the Knicks are doing, and that's why they're where they are, and that's why they weren't in good shape in the first 2 games.
And a 3 on the shot clock. Tucker. Mustaf, yes, and it counts. Strong move by the rookie, Gerard Mustaf, who now will go to the line.
Jackson pulling people together. Trent Tucker aggressively moving to the basket. And oh, how he got the message from John McLeod. Go to the basket. I want everybody driving. And the Knicks had 2 offensive rebounders who could get it done. This time, though, it was Mustaf. These are the kind of plays that will, as the Knicks look back at this half, will loom large from the unlikely people who have not been doing big things lately. Big play by Mustaf.
And a 3-point play. He was fouled by Perdue. Knicks now go with a 3-guard alignment as Gerald Wilkins has replaced Brian Quinnett. They lead it by 10. Grant Played by Oakley. Pippen. Defended by Wilkins. And he's fouled.
If you're Oakley, and if you got your hand on the ball and the ball alone, you react as he just did. I mean, immediately he couldn't believe that call. We'll see Wilkins now against the taller Pippen by 3 inches, working in low to use his height advantage. Oakley reaches in, and he felt it was a clean block.
Scottie Pippen, 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He is a 71% foul shooter. Now Horace Grant will sit down, and Stacey King comes on for the first time.
In game 1 in Chicago, in that horror for the Knicks, Pippen was 9 of 10 from the foul line. Michael Jordan, 9 of 9 in that one. Oakley getting a break now after an excellent all-star performance here in the first half.
Charles doing a nice job off the boards, listed for 4 rebounds, but that stat doesn't tell the whole story. A lot of good boxing out. Purdue getting inside, and it's a goaltend. The basket will count. So the Knicks now lead at 39-31. Kenny Walker has replaced Charles Oakley. Walker coming off a good one on Sunday, although he was shaken up early in the game, but able to come back strong. Mark Jackson took 7 stitches on Sunday above the left eye. Wilkins with the step. And Armstrong starts back. Pippen around Jackson, and then served up the facial on Mustaf. And the Knicks lead it by 6. Broken arm. I recall Bob Pettit playing with a broken arm. With a broken heart. Yes, very nice. Always putting it into perspective. 8-point Knick lead. Hodges. And Walker on the rebound. Vandaway was wide open, but Cheeks was afraid of the cross-court pass. Knicks take a timeout. 7:06 to go in the first half. Doubleheader on MSG. Yankees and the Oakland A's coming up at 10:30 as Rickey Henderson guns for his 939th career stolen base to pass by Lou Brock, the man of steel, John, going against the arm of Matt Noakes. Percentages are, if Rickey gets on base, he will break the record.
Think he have the audacity to do it against the New York Yankees?
Yes, I do. Yankees 0-12 last season against the Oakland A's. Yankee baseball tonight at 10:30. The Knicks 41 and the Bulls 33, just under 7 minutes to go. In this first half, Mustaf was fouled. Armstrong coming over to help out, and he is called for his first.
Gerard Mustaf coming on big here in the first half for the Knicks. He has given the Knicks many good moments this year, but he couldn't pick a better game to come on really strong.
Michael Jordan back on the floor. Once again, a low-key first half. Jordan 3 for 7, 6 points. Now recall the last time the Knicks and the Bulls played here in New York, the Bulls came back from a 24-point deficit to beat the Knicks, and Jordan started slowly.
Difference for the Bulls, however, is they're not getting anything from the front line other than Pippen. Grant is quiet, as is Cartwright, who is on the bench right now.
Hodges and Jordan at the guard. Grant is up front, along with King. Here's Hodges with a 3. That was the 24-second buzzer.
Boy, you see how the double team worked perfect to stop Jordan on that play.
Vandaway from downtown. So the Knicks open up a 12-point lead. It's their biggest of the night. Here's Armstrong. A rebound, King. He was blocked by Mustaf. Jordan cuts it to 10.
Mustaf made a great play, denying him what appeared to be an easy 2.
It's been a very impressive effort for the rookie out of Maryland, Gerard Mustaf. Long rest period for Patrick Ewing now, who is making his way toward the scorer's table. Jordan off the steal. Armstrong ahead of the field, and the Knicks lead at 45-37.
Speed and strength of Jordan took that ball away from Vandeweghe.
Armstrong anticipating the pass, and he has Hodges. Once again, a good play by B.J. Armstrong. In his second year out of Iowa, he's trimmed it to 6.
Gerald Wilkins inbounding the ball, threw it off the bottom of the backboard. The Knicks cough it up.
A very sad sequence by the Knicks. John McLeod sending on Charles Oakley for Gerard Mustaf. And now Stacey King sits down. Bill Cartwright returns. Walker also will depart. Knicks with Oakley, Ewing, and Vandeweghe, Cheeks, and Wilkins in the backcourt as we come up on 5 minutes to go in this first half. Here's Jordan.
Now, let's not get ridiculous, Michael. He had everything but the final spin correct on that shot.
Vandeweghe, he'll go to the line, hit from front and back.
Knicks back to their starting lineup now. The Bulls are going with a substitute lineup in the backcourt with Armstrong and Hodges.
Armstrong called for the foul. That was his second.
That last basket by the Bulls, Gerald Wilkins tried to inbound it, as we just saw, and it went off the bottom of the backboard.
Vandeweghe 3 for 3 for the line is 12. Here's John Paxson for B.J. Armstrong. B.J. leads with a field goal for 2.
Personality of the Knicks offensively tonight is shockingly different than the first 2 games, and it's being contrasted inside. They're getting so much done inside the foul line with their strength, and when necessary, they have gotten some contributions from the perimeter. They're a completely different team tonight as they're shooting the ball so much better.
That second free throw nullified. A lane violation by Patrick Ewing. Stepped in too quickly. Knicks lead at 46-39. Crowd wanted to travel. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Jordan. Stopped by Wilkins. Good play by Oakley. It will be Nick Ball.
It's such a gigantic play emotionally for the team as well. And when do you get a chance to block a Jordan jump shot?
Wilkins. Knicks get back. Hodges putting the move on Cheeks, and he's held. Basket won't count. The Bulls mildly argue for the continuation.
Gerald Wilkins still has not mastered the art of understanding what he can and cannot do. Makes a great defensive play here at this end. Keeps his footing. Hangs with Jordan as Jordan goes into the air to hang for the shot. And is right there with him. Beautifully done. But at the other end, Gerald comes down and forces the jump shot. Oakley on a great save as well on that play. Forced the jump shot and made it very difficult for himself.
Cartwright and Oakley had some words as they angle for position.
Oakley, the most physical member of the Knicks, and Cartwright has been playing very physically himself. That is a collision.
And of course, Oakley and Cartwright were traded for each other. Pippen, again, a facial, this one, right at Patrick Ewing.
Right now, the feeling the Knicks have to present to Pippen is that he will get knocked down when he drives to the basket. They've yet to do that. They must him up a bit.
17 for Scottie Pippen. Oakley looking for Wilkins down low. Vandeweghe, and he's turned back. It's a 3-on-1. Paxson all the way. 46-43. The Knicks lead is down to 3. They led by as many as 12.
Jordan on the steal again. The greatness of Jordan being demonstrated at the defensive end of the court twice now in the last couple of minutes.
Knicks take a timeout with 3:24 left in the first half.
So many times the Knicks have learned how effective the Bulls are at the defensive end of the court. Scottie Pippen, of course, has had a gigantic game. Here's a left-handed stuff over Ewing. But it's the defense that has brought the Bulls back into this game. Jordan again on a steal. 3rd in the NBA. Notice how the left-handed move at the end of that play is done so beautifully by John Paxson. Jordan 3rd in the NBA in steals. Pippen right behind him. What a dynamic duo they are in stealing the ball.
Down to 7 on the 24. Cheeks. He has 8 points. And the Knicks lead at 48-43, putting an end to that 10-1 run by the Bulls. Bulls now line up with Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Grant, Cartwright, and Pippen up front. Vanderway is back to Pippen. Nice pass. Jordan able to do the rest. Cuts it to 3. Michael Jordan has 10.
Amazing role reversal here. Pippen has been a spectacular player in the first half. Jordan kind of hanging in with him and doing fine, but Pippen has stolen the show here.
Pippen has become one of the great players in the league. Vanderway push. Nice move by Kiki Vanderway. And he drew the foul on Pippen. That's the 2nd for Scottie Pippen.
Vanderway came back from the injury, that long period of time when he wasn't himself. The feeling was he didn't have that final step to the basket. He certainly showed it on that play.
And we have seen it more and more as the season has progressed. He has that quick first step and a very long step to the hoop that is deceiving.
Because of the fine defensive efforts of the Bulls, the Knicks now have to go out and manufacture once again excellent offensive play as they have through most of this first half.
And the Knicks certainly getting to the line here in the first half. Well, they complain about not getting to the line, but in fairness to the officials, they are going to the hoop more frequently in this first half, and they're 10-for-11 from the line. The Bulls have been there only 5 times, 3 out of 5. Knicks lead at 50-45, 2:20 left in the first half. Pippen, nice pass for Grant. And it's down to a 3-point Knick lead. And the Knicks played that sequence about as well as you could hope for defensively.
The interchange between the big men, Pippen and Grant, was beautifully done. Passing like that is not common among big men on that front line.
Ewing has been very quiet. Ewing is 3 for 6 from the field. Grant. And he was hit by Vanderway. Kiki committing his 2nd.
That's his 2nd. And the Knicks' first team foul in the last 2 minutes.
It is a non-shooting foul. The Bulls are already over the foul limit.
Well, the Bulls have, in effect, withstood the storm of the Knicks' tremendous play here in the first half, and now they're finding they're getting their breaks going and they're getting more confidence in their offense.
Once again, it's Vanderway going against Jordan. The double team on Cartwright, then he threw it away, recovered by Pippen. Here's Jordan for 3. Oakley. Yes, and a count. The foul called on Jordan.
Jordan pointing to official Darryl Garrettson. Was it offense? Did he push off? That's what he was hoping for. Ewing soars to get that rebound. Cheeks hesitates till the last second and then sees Oakley coming in strong. Who gets his hand on the shirt of Oakley, but nothing more. I thought he might try and jump with Oakley to block that.
There you see the foul shooting disparity.
You know what Oakley did well, though, Marv, on that drive to the basket? He stayed wide until the very end, and for that reason, Jordan couldn't get to him.
And so rare to see Oakley hit on a driving burst in that manner. Nice pass. Grant from Jordan, plus the foul.
The Knicks are allowing the Bulls to flex their muscles. They're getting a lot of slam dunks. Jordan on a beautiful pass. Oh, what a gorgeous pass. But the Knicks have to play more physically and take away that confidence that the Bulls are getting around the basket. They have to deck a few people in a friendly way.
You continue to come out for violence, John.
No, not friendly physical play.
Oakley called for the foul. Scottie Pippen will sit down. Cliff Livingston has come on for the first time. The Knicks were lifted in the first quarter by the scoring of Gerald Wilkins, but he has not scored at all here in the second. Here's the trap, which has been very effective. And a timeout has been called. Maurice Cheeks getting the timeout call in. 1:05 remaining, first half. The Knick lead is now 2.
Right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Bulls getting stronger here now as the half winds down. Jordan going baseline, guarded well. It gives it off beautifully to Grant, who sneaks in ahead of Charles Oakley. Michael Jordan, for him, a very quiet half, concentrating on passing the ball. Already has 5 assists.
Done a nice job, though, in other areas.
He's turned 3 steals into baskets.
Down to 50 seconds left, first half. And Darryl Garretson with the call, pushing foul. It is on Livingston, his first. Bulls over the limit. So once again, the Knicks to the line. Now in game 1, they went to the foul line only 18 times. Game 2, 16 times. And now Vandeweghe with 2 shots. That'll make 14 free throws for the Knicks already in this first half. Coming up at halftime, Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk and the MetLife Knick of the Year presentation coming up at the half. John Starks making his first appearance, replacing Maurice Cheeks, who shot well, 4 for 7, 8 points. And the Knicks lead it now 54-50. They've led by as many as 12. Here's light pressure. Ewing remaining in the backcourt with Grant. Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan! It counts. And the foul.
Well, this is an ego problem for Patrick Ewing. First of all, Jordan on the beautiful dismissal of the defense. In this case, Starks and then Oakley, and then the deception. No, I'm not going away from the hoop. And who's at the end waiting but Patrick Ewing? And still, he is not denied in a most dramatic slam dunk finish.
Ewing called for his second foul. That is one of the moves of the season. Michael Jordan, who had one on Sunday afternoon off a spin and a scoop, I think passed that one by, John. Wilkins had to save it, and Livingston able to get to it. The Knick lead is down to 1. Half minute to go, first half.
Marv, as you traveled a long road in the playoffs, I know you'll look back to that move.
Yes, I will. I have Ewing posterized in my mind on that one.
That's right, right. The fear of every player to be posterized.
Livingston. Will it count? No. Too late. 24-second. 24-second buzzer.
Posterized, of course, meaning being the victim of a slam dunk done beautifully by Jordan, and for all to see in offices and bedrooms around the country.
Right, photographers getting the shot, and opposition players do not want to be the other member of that photo. And apparently they are checking on the clock, which shows 8 3/10 seconds remaining. The basket was waved off. It came after the 24-second buzzer, and they have reset the clock. 9 4/10 seconds remaining. I think Scottie Pippen beginning to posterize some people. Perhaps people here in the first half.
I personally would love to be posted.
Yes, I know it. No ego problem at all. As long as you get the exposure.
Even sitting along the sidelines.
Knicks by 1 as we come to the final seconds of the half. Here's Wilkins. Oakley. Will it count? No, it's way gone. I don't think there was any question. The Knicks arguing it. At center court, Steve Javie had the right position, and from our angle, I think no question about it. Too late. Here's another look.
Oakley in the right spot.
Too late. So, at the half, it's the Knicks 54 and the Bulls 53. Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk, and Al and Walt when we return.
Halftime, Madison Square Garden, Game 3 of this Eastern Conference opener. The Bulls trail the Knicks by 1. The Knicks led at the end of one quarter by 6, increased that lead to 12, but the last 8 Chicago Bulls hoops of that first half were either layups or dunks. We'll have highlights to show you in a moment, but first, this from Bob Page at the Sports Desk.
Thanks, Al. After winning the first 2 games of their series at Milwaukee, the Sixers looking to complete their humiliation of the Bucks tonight at the Spectrum in Philly. And they are humiliating them. They lead 55-39 at halftime. Here's first quarter action. Charles Barkley drives to the hole. Looks like he was never injured. Barkley dunks to put the Sixers up 19-16. The lead was 6 after one quarter. Early in the second stanza, Ricky Green intercepts an Alvin Robertson pass up court to Barkley for the two-hand slam. Sixers up by 7. Milwaukee got a little something going thanks to Long Island native Frank Burkowski, who goes to the hoop right in Minute's face, gets the call and made the free throw. Del Harris and the Bucks cut the deficit to 6 before it ballooned back up to its current 16. Elsewhere tonight, the Pistons losing at Atlanta by 8 at halftime. The Hawks, of course, looking to take a 2-1 lead in that best-of-5 series. The Lakers can close out Houston in 3 straight with a win tonight at the Summit, but L.A. down by 7 in the second quarter. Early in the first quarter of that one, the Lakers' James Worthy with the ball. Gets it to Magic Johnson, who nails a three-pointer, and Don Chaney and the Rockets trailed 12-11. Later in the first, Rockets on the break. Queens native Kenny Smith to Otis Thorpe for the layup. Houston ahead by 1. Now, late first quarter, Thorpe gets a rebound, goes length of the floor, a driving one-hander right over Vlade Divac, who's played so well in this series. Thorpe had 12 first-quarter points. Mike Dunleavy and the Lakers trailed by 1 at the end of that opening stanza. Later tonight, Portland goes for a sweep with the Sonics in Game 3 of their series, as you see on the bottom there, which has shifted to Seattle. And Phoenix plays at Utah with that best-of-5 tied at 1 game each. Indiana Pacers forward Detlef Schrempf was today named NBA's 6th Man of the Year in nationwide voting by broadcasters and writers. He edged out the Phoenix Suns' Dan Marley by a scant single vote. We'll be back in just 60 seconds.
What a turnaround in the first half. The Knicks once up by 12, now lead the Bulls by only 1. We're back courtside at Madison Square Garden. The leading scorers of the first half brought to you by your tri-state area Jeep and Eagle dealers, Advantage Jeep and Eagle. And here you look at the story for the Bulls. Scottie Pippen was spectacular. 17 points, 8 of 11 from the floor, 7 rebounds. Michael Jordan, 6 for 12, also some from the spectacular variety, 13 points. As for the New York Knicks, Kiki Vandeweghe started hot, played very aggressively, finished with 16 points. Other than that, Gerald Wilkins, 17, 5 of 9. He started off sizzling, and it looks as though this might be another game 1, 11 points rather for Gerald Wilkins. This might be another game 1 for Patrick Ewing as he closes out the first half with only 6. Joining me is Walt Clyde Frazier. Clyde, it looked as though the Knicks did all the right things that they needed to do to take control, but then rather than saying that the Knicks gave back their 12-point lead, I think the Bulls just took it away.
Yeah, indeed they did, especially the Big Apple turnovers came back. The Knicks were not getting back in transition, so that propelled the Bulls.
Big stories from the first half include the Knicks trying to break the Chicago press. We'll have some of that in the highlights brought to you by Minolta. Experience the magic of Maxim only from the mind of Minolta. How did the Knicks do in trying to beat that press, Clyde?
Early on, they did a good job. They were attacking it. As we spoke about in the pregame show, Mo Cheeks doing a good job of dishing it. You see here, they're not dribbling it up, but passing it as you should do. So a splendid pass by the Oakman. Vandeweghe with the good stuff.
Clyde, how's this for an unofficial stat? 34 of the Bulls' shots were either layups or dunks. Let's take a look at Scottie Pippen delivering some of that.
This was a nice dunk by Pippen, who was tipping down the right side with the vicious stuff. So he's been bedeviling the Knicks with his shenanigans inside.
Maybe the most spectacular move of the first half was delivered by Michael Jordan in the last minute.
Yeah, watch Michael gyrate and vibrate along the baseline, spinning and turning, burning the Knicks. And this dunk, folks, he had that right stuff that time, baby.
All right, we have a lot more to come at halftime here. That'll do it with Walt Clyde Frazier and the highlights. As you can see, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan had a great first half. When we come back, we'll have the MetLife of the Year award for the New York Knicks. That and more as we continue from courtside at the Garden, where the Knicks lead by 1. In Game 2, the Knicks led by 2 at the half, went on to lose by 10. Here they lead by 1, 54-53. Our halftime presentation for MetLife. They're still organizing this presentation, and now Patrick Ewing has appeared at center court, and it seems as though we're about to go.
Mr. Ivar Quigley, Director, Sports Programs for MetLife, will present the MetLife Knick of the Year Award for the 1990-91 season. Mr. Quigley.
On behalf of MetLife, I'm pleased to present the MetLife Knick of the Year Award to Patrick Ewing. Congratulations, Pat. In addition, MetLife will present a check for $5,000 to Patrick's favorite choice. So let's go, Knicks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice...
Patrick Ewing was the Knick of the Month in January and March. Kiki Vandeweghe, Charles Oakley, Gerald Wilkins, and Mark Jackson also won Knick of the Month honors this season. But as far as Knick of the Year goes, you can see that Patrick Ewing has dominated that. Only Mark Jackson in the 87-88 season and Gerald Wilkins in the 86-87 season were able to break through. Now, just moments ago, John McLeod emerged from the Knick locker room. Might be interesting to hear what he has to say about handling this second half. Bruce Beck was our man, standing and waiting for him.
John, how do you deny Scottie Pippen's penetration?
Well, we tried to close from the weak side. We're trying to push him left and make him use his weak hand, but we probably overdone that. We've over-exaggerated that, and then the weak side people have to come in and close down the drive. We're not converging quickly enough, and we need to get that taken care of. They're driving the ball right through us, Jordan Pippen, and we need to shut that down here in the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Bruce, let's go to Marv Albert and John Andres.
Thank you, Al. And the third quarter underway as the Knicks go right to the press. See the hot shooting by the Chicago Bulls in the second quarter, picking it up. They are now down by 1. They trail by as many as 12. Here's Jordan, and that will count. It's a goaltend. The Bulls take a 55-54 lead. So Michael Jordan now has 15 points.
Well, Michael, with that reminiscent move of Sunday that he finished so beautifully, but the Knicks were unable to stop that move with the goaltend.
Scottie Pippen, high man, with 17, 8 for 11 from the field. Also had 7 rebounds. 16 for Kiki Vandeweghe to lead the Knicks. And Ewing will go to the line. Patrick Ewing with only 6 points in the first half. Cartwright called for the foul, his second. Back in game 1 when the Bulls won by 41, Ewing had the 6 points in the first half and ended up with 6 points and only 7 shots. Ewing with a 3 for 6 from the floor to this point has not been able to get into it. Vandeweghe with 16, Wilkins with 11, Gerald scoring his 11 in the first quarter. For the half, the Knicks shot 54%, the Bulls at 53, and the Bulls with a slight edge off the boards, 21-18. Knicks by 1. Again, the Knicks go to the double team. Pippen, Grant, Cartwright up front. Jordan, Paxson in the backcourt. Here's Pippen getting it back out. Paxson with the open shot. So John Paxson has hit 3 out of 5 for his 6 points, and the Bulls lead it by 1.
Outstanding teams are able to use all of their resources, and that's what the Bulls demonstrated on that play with inviting John Paxson back.
Knicks with Cheeks and Wilkins in the backcourt. Ewing, Vandeweghe, Oakley up front, and Patrick Ewing reaches double figures. He has 10. The Knicks 58, the Bulls 57. Collapse on Cartwright. Cheeks over to help. Here's Jordan. Wilkins with the fake. And then able to go glass. Knicks lead by 3.
Oh, Gerald has really shaken the cobwebs off his game tonight. He is back strong to his old self.
Once again, the matchup, Oakley on Cartwright, and Ewing is outside against Grant. And the chant of defense from the crowd. 5 on the 24. Cartwright got bottled up. Down to 1 on the shot clock. And Paxson hits.
Time and again, John Paxson has hit shots with the seconds fading fast.
John Paxson has come roaring back. 1 for 6. On Sunday, 2 for 8, game 1 last Thursday, shooting 55% from the field. He's been one of the major reasons the Bulls have had such a superb season. Vandeweghe and Pippen to the board. Pippen protecting it well. And the foul called on Wilkins. Basket won't count. Michael Jordan giving Gerald Wilkins that deceptive dribble, the change of pace. It is a non-shooting foul.
Michael seemingly more involved now in the offense. Probably doesn't want to deal with reporters asking him if he was afraid of something or other here in New York with his quiet first half, and he is turning it on now.
17 for Jordan. The Bulls 61 and the Knicks 60. For the Knicks, the season on the line. They're down 2-0 in this best of 5. If they win here, there'll be a game 4 at the Garden on Thursday. Illegal defense call for the first time against Chicago. If the Bulls win, it is all over, and they then wait for the winner from the Philadelphia-Milwaukee series, and the 76ers with the big lead on the Bucks at the Spectrum in the 3rd quarter, as they look to wrap it up in a surprise opening by winning the first 2 at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Jordan with the steal. Pippen from Jordan, and the Bulls lead by 3.
Frustrating part of that move by Oakley is he had the path to the basket and he overpassed.
Timeout called by the Knicks. 8:25 to go in the 3rd. Series, it would take place on Thursday night, and you see it here on MSG following Knicks game night. Knicks and the Bulls here on the MSG network. The Bulls leading it by the score of 63-60. Knicks have led by as many as 12. They had a good first half, led at the quarter 31-25, led at halftime by 1. Bulls have come out hitting 5 of 6 from the floor. Away, trying to find Wilkins, and it will be Chicago ball.
See what a disturbance Jordan can become defensively. He helped out without getting burned himself by coming in the middle, establishing his presence, and always being a threat to steal that ball.
Jordan faking right, going left, now to the spin. Yes! 19 for Jordan.
That is an unreal move because the defense is with him, and then it is not because he goes airbound and he's fading away.
Here's Ewing. Oh, he's clobbered by Jordan. Jordan over to help out. Bulls in the midst of an 8-0 run. Now here is that move.
I mean, the defense is with him, and then it is not. He just goes away. At the other end, Ewing working inside, getting clobbered, as you said, Marv, from behind.
Although the foul was called on Cartwright, who got him first, and then Jordan came over. Jordan just went over to apologize to Ewing. Patrick Ewing is 2 for 2 from the line. So the Bulls with a 65-60 lead.
Well, the mission is very clear now, as Phil Jackson is very happy with what he sees. The mission is clear. The Knicks have the big job in front of them. Their season now rests in the second half.
And Ewing way off. However, Darryl Garrison calling a lane violation. And Ewing will get another opportunity. Scottie Pippen too quick to step in. Ewing hits 1 for 2. And the Bulls lead 65-61. Again, the open shot for Paxson. 3 on 2. Wilkins. Oh, spectacular move by Gerald Wilkins.
That was Scottie Pippen in front of him, too.
15 for Wilkins. The Bulls by 2. Pippen. Lost it. Another steal by Jordan. And he's given the Bulls a 67-63 lead. Michael Jordan has taken over this third quarter.
That was particularly special for him. He has affection for Oakley, his former teammate, and he just took it right out of his hands and then pumped it in while looking at Oakley.
8 of his 21 have come here in the third, and we still have 6.5 to go. Ewing beating Cartwright. That a rare sight.
I think Patrick might have gotten the benefit of a non-call. He looked like he might have gotten the extra step, but boy, did the Knicks need it.
Bulls 67 and the Knicks 65. Jordan going between the legs. Jordan for the spin and then dished it off. Cartwright rebounded by Cheeks.
They've missed 3 out of their last 4.
Cheeks going to the hoop. He was hacked. Maurice to the line. Right here, let's get a Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
Marv at Houston, David Wood to Dave Jamerson to Otis Thorpe, who jams to put the Rockets ahead by 10, help them to a 46-39 halftime lead over the Lakers.
All right, Bob, the Houston Rockets hoping to stay alive against the Los Angeles Lakers. That last foul committed by Bill Cartwright. He is replaced by Will Perdue. Cartwright has been quiet, sits down with 4. Maurice Cheeks cuts it to a 1-point Chicago lead.
Well, with the Knicks spurt now, the fans have gotten back into it, and they are respecting the Knicks' resolve not to accept what the Bulls have presented here, and the fans are up.
5:40 remaining in the third. Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan has 23. He has scored 10 of his 23 in the third, and the Bulls lead by 3. Here's Ewing. Fouled by Perdue. Patrick Ewing getting into it here in the third quarter, looking more active.
The Knicks will try and put Ewing in situations where there are no help-out defenders in the area. The more they do that, as they did in the first half Sunday, the better. And that will require 3 men taking their men away from Ewing while he can operate one-on-one.
Bulls lead it 69-67. Ewing now 3 out of 4 from the foul line. And Pippen able to get to it. 69 and the Knicks 67 as we come up on 5 minutes to go in the third. Here's Purdue. Paxson saving it and hitting at the 24-second buzzer. So the Bulls now lead at 71-67. Marv Albert with John Andres, Al Troutwig, Walt Clyde Frazier from the Garden. Michael Jordan has taken over here in the third quarter, hitting 5 of 6 from the field. And Vanderway coughed it up. It'll be Chicago ball. Jordan with 10 of his 23 points here in the third. At one point, the Knicks led by as many as 12. Good hustle by Cheeks. He deflected it out of bounds. Scottie Pippen will throw it in. Pippen had the superb first half, 17 in the first half. He has 19 for the game. Knicks led by Vanderway with 16 and Wilkins with 15. Patrick Ewing with only 14 points. Got off to a slow start. Jordan and Cheeks on the rebound. The Knicks trying to stay alive, looking to force a fourth game on Thursday. Cheeks stripped. And here's Jordan with Paxson, and the foul is called on Wilkins. That's 3 on Gerald Wilkins.
Well, Maurice Cheeks leading the break-up court and then keeping the ball. An unusual decision for him. He's so unselfish in that he wanted to take on 3 of the Bulls. And the response was Gerald Wilkins with a game-saving or shot-saving move himself. When you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly. Please know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Well, as we were headed to the timeout, Maurice Cheeks, in a heated discussion with the officials, was called for a technical. Did not like that last reach-in foul call. So Michael Jordan will go to the line. That is a rare occurrence to see Maurice Cheeks called for a technical foul. It is Chicago ball off that last reach-in foul committed by Cheeks. The Bulls now lead by 5. This matches their biggest lead of the game. We're down to 4 minutes to go in the third. Purdue. And Vanderway gets to it. Wilkins from downtown. Oh, good hustle by Oakley. What a save! And Wilkins thought Cheeks would be cutting to the far side.
A waste of an incredible save by Oakley.
3.5 left in the third. Chicago in possession with a 5-point lead. Purdue up high, sets the pick, and Jordan goes left. Rebound, Purdue. On the shot clock. Ewing. Vanderway is fouled. Kiki Vanderway has been getting it off the board.
Kiki not boxed out and having the occasion of getting a rare offensive rebound. Doesn't happen often for him, but the timing was good as Cheeks picked out Ewing and was patient to make sure he got the ball to Ewing.
Foul committed by Jordan. It puts the Bulls over a foul limit. Vanderway 7 for 7. Make it 8 for 8 from the line. One of the better free throw shooters in the league.
The Knicks are not playing with quite the ferocity they were in the first half. They've just gone down a notch. And the Bulls, with Jordan leading the way, have come up. And the Knicks have to somehow manufacture much better play now. In the remaining minutes of this game, they've got to go up.
Bulls 72. And the Knicks 69.
Ewing not respecting Grant's outside shot at all and trying to become a middle presence.
There's Jordan off the fourth. Michael Jordan working hard for that bucket. He now has 6. Full 74. And the Knicks 69. Ewing's pass, thrown in casual fashion, was almost picked off.
Jordan's jump shooting tonight is truly spectacular in that he puts so much into getting the shot off, and yet at the end he has an ease and a flow to his shot, despite what has gone on to lead to the point of executing the shot. Remarkable physical thing he does.
Michael Jordan is 12 for 21 from the field. And Jordan with a burst, ripping by Wilkins. He now has 28. 15 of the 28 here in the third. He has taken over the ball game.
Now the question is, does he take over the minds as well as the scoreboard, the minds of the Knicks?
Effective double team by the Bulls, and then Wilkins stopped by Perdue. Pippen for Paxson. John Paxson will go to the line. Vandeweghe picking up his third. John Paxson has turned it up several notches. Kenny Walker checking back in. Here's Craig Hodges for Michael Jordan. 28 points for Jordan. And he's hearing the applause from this New York crowd.
Michael has made his statement despite the spectacular play of Scottie Pippen, his teammate in the first half. Michael has now picked it up and stolen the show as far as individual play goes, although Michael had an excellent first half with his all-around game. Now the Knicks have to really answer within themselves as to what they will accept or not and how they can respond to this fine play by the team that won 61 games to their 39 during the regular season.
And Chicago Bulls 61 and 21, best record of the history of the franchise. Again, Ewing outside, and hearing it from the crowd, it has not been a good performance by Patrick Ewing. Only 14 points. He's been held in check again by the Bulls.
The Knicks have lost their togetherness at the offensive end. The exchange of the pass is not taking place as it was in the first half.
Hodges with a fling. Perdue gets to it. Will Perdue hanging in and timing perfectly, and the Bulls have opened up an 11-point lead.
Well, Perdue at 7 foot plus had no one to battle him. Ewing was a long way away from him on that play.
50 seconds to go in the third. Here's Ewing. Rebound Perdue, and a foul. Trent Tucker returning, replacing Gerald Wilkins, who leads with 15. Walker called for the foul, and the Knicks now over the foul of it. B.J. Armstrong back on the court. B.J. Armstrong, Craig Hodges now tries the backcourt. Will produce Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant up front. Will Perdue will shoot two on the line for the first time. Perdue only a 67% free throw shooter.
Perdue has managed to be a presence against the Knicks, although his numbers are not impressive at all. In limited time, he has become a very noticeable figure on the court, backing up Bill Cartwright. The Bulls don't seem to lose when they go to their bench against the Knicks from the center position.
So that run by the Bulls, it's a 14-3 string put together by Phil Jackson's Chicago Bulls. They now lead at 81-69, half minute to go in the third. Rod Mustoff back in. He played well in the first half. Shot clock is down to 2. Tucker has to fire and hits. 81-71, Chicago. And the Bulls hold for a final shot. If this gets out of hand in the fourth quarter, the reaction from this Garden crowd could become ugly. Perdue, and the Bulls lead at 83-71.
No box out on Perdue, a taller man.
Traveling violation called at the final buzzer. after 3, should say at the buzzer ending the third quarter. And apparently they will readjust the clock. There may still be a 1/10 of a second remaining. The quarter is not over. And it will be Chicago ball at midcourt. 3/10 of a second remaining. And Phil Jackson calling for a timeout to plot out the play that will end the third quarter.
Odd timeout, though. Use an important timeout when you have a 12-point lead.
Except they're in pretty good shape with timeouts. They have 4 and a 20 remaining. Michael Jordan, 15 points in the third. The Knicks with only 17 points in the third quarter. The Bulls have outscored them 30-17.
Reminiscent of the game here in New York in April when the Knicks had a 55-31 lead in the first half. Michael with 9 points, and he had 25 in the second half.
Well, John, tonight at 10:30, it's the Yankees and the Oakland A's from Oakland right here on MSG as the man of steel, Ricky Henderson, looks to break Lou Brock's stolen base record, gunning for number 939. That'll be tonight here on the MSG Network, the best in the game. The Bulls with an 83-71 lead on the Knicks. They will have the ball at midcourt when we resume following this timeout, and they have 3/10 of a second left in the quarter.
Marv, the second half of the season has seen the Knicks being victimized by their play of the third quarters of games. We have seen some very interesting numbers in third quarters of play in the second half of the year, which have really been devastatingly against the Knicks team. They've allowed themselves to be outplayed severely time after time in the third quarter. And here in a very vital life or death game, they had the same thing happen again.
And similar to what took place on Sunday afternoon, the Knicks opened up strong. They had a good first half, led by as many as 12. But they have lost their composure here in the third quarter. Walker with the interception. So the Bulls with an 83-71 lead as we head to the fourth quarter. The Bulls lead 83-71, led by Michael Jordan. John, recently one of the Bulls' best defensive players of days gone by, Stoneman Norm Van Leer, was here in town, and our Bruce Beck caught up to Norman and asked how would he defend Michael Jordan. And we'll get to that in just a moment.
John McLeod decided to go with the smaller lineup again with Tucker and Starks and Gerald Wilkins.
And it will be Chicago ball. The Bulls 83 and the Knicks 71. Norman Van Leer, one of those players you did not want to go against, similar to Al Attles, where you know that you've been in a very tough ball game. You would feel it physically after the game was over. Will Purdue's shot off the mark, rebounded by Walker, lost it, and then regained by John Starks, who just checked back in. Here's Starks, and the call against the Knicks. Darryl Garrison calling a travel. B.J. Armstrong, Craig Hodges in the backcourt. Horace Grant, Will Purdue, and Scottie Pippen up front. Michael Jordan getting a rest. Here's Pippen. Patrick Ewing, who has returned, able to handle his 10th rebound. Wilkins for 3. Barely caught the rim. Walker with the steal. Tucker.
There's no question that the Knicks need a touch of greatness to come back in this thing. And there's no sign of it.
And Michael Jordan is getting set to return. The Knicks once led by 12, 45-33. Now the Bulls with a 12-point lead, so we've seen a swing of 50-26 in favor of Chicago. Starks lost it. And then called for the foul, and the Knicks beginning to hear the boos. John Starks coughed it up and then called for the foul. Back to the subject of Norman Van Leer. We asked Van Leer how would he go up defensively against Michael Jordan.
I don't think you can. You just foul out. That's it. I mean, with the new rules today and the offense is so wide open, once again, he's the type of guy I would let shoot the jumper to beat me and rely on my teammates like Detroit plays. They put a good defensive man on him, Dumars or whoever. They watch him with a lot of help. And once again, I would use 5 of my 6'5" very carefully to let him know I'm there.
Well, Gerald Wilkins called for the foul. The basket by Jordan counts, and he will go to the line. Yes, Joe Dumars, one of the more effective players with some help from Piston teammates in going up against Michael Jordan.
I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but looking at Jordan on that last shot reminds me, and I'm thinking of Van Leer, you can't foul Jordan. You can't get to him to foul him because he goes up in the air as he fades away, and it reminds me, switching sports, of Muhammad Ali at his greatest. People couldn't get to him. You know, he can hurt you, he can pound you to death, but you can't get your hands on him. There's some logic to that, Mark.
John, it's been a long season, and I think it really has caught up to you.
You couldn't get to Ali in the ring, and you can't get to Jordan on the court. You can't hurt him.
I buy it, John.
Thank you.
We'll be back to that in a moment. Let's go to Bob Page.
Marv, final seconds of the third quarter in Philly. Jack Sikma gets the ball. Hersey Hawkins gets the steal. Goes in for the layup to make it 82-69 after 3. It's now a 19-point lead in the Bucks' final game.
Thank you, Bob. The Philadelphia 76ers gunning for the 3-game sweep. They open up by winning the 2 at Milwaukee. No club in the history of the NBA since the best-of-5 series has been in effect has ever come back after losing the first 2 at home. And it appears that distinction is safe as the Sixers are about to sweep the Bucks. So it could be a Bulls-Sixers series opening in Chicago.
That's a shocker.
Here's Jordan. Rejected by Ewing. Stacey King lost it to Trent Tucker. Gerald Wilkins. And King on the rebound. Nothing happening in a positive vein for the Knicks. Jordan given the open shot. Knicks are down by 13. Tucker for 3. The Bulls now lead 86-76. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. King up front with Purdue. Bulls going with 3 guards. And it will be Nick Ball. Knicks with Ewing, Vandeweghe. And then their 3-guard alignment of Wilkins, Tucker, and Cheeks.
Somehow the Knicks have to try, talk about a broken record, to get the ball into Ewing more. He is the man that can lift this team up if he can get going.
Well, the Knicks did try it early, looking to pound it down low, but they could not. Again, the Bulls did a nice job. Here's Cheeks. 86-78. Phil Jackson may be thinking about a timeout. As the Knicks chop it down to 8, well, he's thinking about Scottie Pippen. He will send him in along with Horace Grant. Here's King, and he'll go to the line. Cheeks called for his 3rd. The Knicks have run off 7 consecutive points. Hodges sitting down as Pippen has come on. Now the Knicks will have to adjust to the defensive alignment with Pippen back on the floor.
Knicks making it interesting and giving Phil Jackson some cause for concern now as they put something together here.
Stacey King, a 70% free throw shooter in his 2nd year out of Oklahoma. And he's extended to a 10-point Chicago lead. Light pressure by the Bulls. Wilkins asking for help and lost it.
As sparkling as Gerald was in the first half, he's lost it here in the second half.
Jordan forced into a difficult shot by Vandeweghe, but Perdue is right there again. And Will Perdue has come up solid. In fact, to the point where he has kept Bill Cartwright on the bench.
The Knicks have elected to go with speed with the shorter lineup, but they sure miss Oakley when you see a play like that.
Knicks call for time with 7:40 left in the fourth. Of boxing from the days of, as you know,
Sonny Liston,
right?
Muhammad.
Very good. Back to the subject of Muhammad.
On the radio, I listened intently.
And as you pointed out, it's a week from Friday night in Lewiston. Our apologies. 7.5 left in the fourth. Another steal. That's 12 steals by the Bulls. Jordan with 6. And Jordan stopped. Steal number 13. Showing the sloppiness of the Knicks and the quickness of the Bulls. Mark Jackson has returned. He played briefly in the first half. Five on the 24. Grant. And Ewing getting to it. Patrick Ewing, only 5 for 12 from the field. Only 16 points. Ewing working against Perdue. Jackson. And the foul on the Bulls. It's on Pippen. His third. Second team foul on Chicago. Well, a new steal record for a series has been established by the Chicago Bulls. They now have come up with 37 in the 3 games and counting. Vandeweghe with the head fake on Grant and lost it. The Bulls have smothered the Knicks. Nice play, though, to knock it away from Pippen. He thought he was fouled.
That steal record, Marv, certainly began in the first game in that embarrassing 41-point defeat when they had 15. Pippen had 4 in that game himself.
Will Perdue was fouled. It's on Trent Tucker. The last time the Knicks beat Chicago, January 15th, 1990, here at the Garden, Matt, off the Trent Tucker 3-point field goal with 1/10 of a second left. The Bulls took 4 out of 4 in the regular season, including the first 2 of this series. The Bulls have won the last 9 against the Knicks. Knicks have lost 15 straight in Chicago. What a solid performance by Will Perdue, 3-year man out of Vanderbilt, off the bench for 11 points and 7 rebounds.
That's Will in his size 21.5-inch shoes have really come on very big in this game, and he has never failed to deliver, it seems, when he has met the Knicks this season. Time may be limited, but he always seems to be noticeable and effective against New York.
Foul called on Perdue. Good pass from Jackson to set up Vandeweghe. Crowd of 18,021, and that is a disappointing crowd because this is a playoff game, and that is short of a sellout, and it tells us that people do not believe in what has been a troubled ball club right throughout. The New York Knicks not able to sell out for a playoff game here at the Garden.
He's the most exciting player in the NBA as well.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth, and the Bulls lead by 13. Here's Jordan whipping by Ewing. Perdue is there again, and the Bulls now lead it 94-79.
Well, Patrick has become so, it seems, afraid of committing fouls that in a situation like that against Michael, you think he might try and waste one just to stop him.
Here's Tucker. Bulls lead 94-81. Ewing with only 2 fouls. B.J. Armstrong for Scottie Pippen. 8 on the 24. Jordan shakes Jackson off and hits the deck. He'll go to the line. He was fouled by Tucker. Michael Jordan, 3 for 3 from the line. He's 14 for 28 from the field. Charles Oakley checking in.
People took note in the first 2 games that Michael only averaged 15 shots a game versus the 22 he took during the regular season. Well, tonight he has certainly come on strong and reminded people that he will not be low-key throughout a series, and he has certainly burst loose here. Michael also in a very interesting position. It hasn't been since 1971 when the player who has won the league scoring championship has played on a championship team. That goes back to the days of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when the Bucks won. He led the league in scoring and the Bucks won the championship. 20 years since that has occurred.
22nd timeout called by Maurice Cheeks, again in trouble by virtue of the Chicago trap. 4:55 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the Chicago Bulls appear to have it comfortably in hand with a 96-81 lead. And we're reaching the point of this ball game unless there is a tremendous turnaround where we are seeing the final minutes in the Knicks careers of several players. And also you have to wonder about the Knicks coaching future of John McLeod. There are figured to be many moves after the playoffs are over for the New York Knicks. Moves made by the new front office contingency of Dave Checketts and Ernie Grunfeld. It is a 15-point deficit as the Knicks are facing a sweep at the hands of the Bulls. Rebound to Jordan, and he saves it. Pippen getting to it. Darryl Garrettson also took a bump, and Phil Jackson is claiming that the Bulls had called a 20-second timeout. Apparently they did.
Well, Marv, since the upset victory of the Knicks over the Celtics last year in Game 5, the feeling was, as most fans know, that the Knicks had enough, had the base of a team for the future. And that win over the Celtics in 5, in retrospect, certainly deceived the future of the team. And now the Knicks are finding out, and perhaps it is, they're finding out what really they do have, and perhaps it is best that the Knicks go quietly for the future of the franchise.
Interesting concept. So you're saying had they been swept by Boston or knocked out 4 or 5, changes might have been made then, and perhaps there would have been more of a feeling of desperation. So you're looking for euthanasia here also. Is that the idea?
Well, I think most fans know this. I don't think it's particularly deep thought.
Yes, for you, John, it's very profound. Bulls with a 96-81 lead. Nice pass from Oakley, and Vandeweghe will go to the line. Pippen picking up his 4th. We're down to 4:19 remaining in the fourth quarter. John Starks replacing Maurice Cheeks, who leads with 11. Vandeweghe is 10 for 11 from the line.
Jordan has gone into a new phase of playing the game. He is now working the sideline. The people in suits and ties.
He's checking on what some of the columnists will be writing tomorrow. Just talking, see a little animated conversation with Pete Vesey of USA Today. Is Michael Ford here in the fourth quarter? And the foul call. Knicks over the limit. Oakley picks it up.
Interesting, too, how Michael saves his best for the second half now. 2 times in a row, he has come on in dramatic fashion. Pippen stole the show as an individual performer in the first half. And Michael saved the best for last, and that's what people remember. It always seems they remember what they saw last. And that is why Dave Checketts, the new Knicks president, and Ernie Grunfeld work with now in a sense that they know what they have to do and what they want to do very clearly to upgrade this team.
Well, I'd have to say, looking at this Knick effort, they did play well in the first half, but this is not a club that came out with fire in their eyes. I have the feeling that this club, knowing that they will be split apart with no great feeling toward each other, as Oakley has had that almost understood that they're going home. And no great effort here on the part of the Knicks.
There hasn't been tremendous emotion on this team throughout the year, Marv, as we have witnessed, certainly. There hasn't been a team love or a confidence. They have been a team that has spurted throughout the season.
Here's Jordan for Pippen. And the Bulls now lead it 99-84.
It always comes back to talent. That's the bottom line.
Talent and the right people surrounding each other, and they did not go into the season in that manner. As Oakley is fouled. Jordan picks it up. Turns out it's the wrong group. The word chemistry is overused, and lack of talent, obviously, in certain areas. The perimeter game has suffered throughout. They have defensive deficiencies. Oakley to the line. Down to 3:22 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls now lead at 99-85. This is a Knick team that went 39-43 during the regular season. The only under 500 team in the playoffs.
You know, Marv, as you know, Al Bianchi is here tonight. He was in town doing a radio interview, as you know, with your NBC buddy Bob Costas on Sunday, and he stayed around for the game, and he came around and visited with people before the game. I thought that was very classy of him to not act as if he's a defeated guy. You know, he came around, said hello to people, and smiled and looks good, and I thought that was a nice, classy move by him. He didn't hide, which is the feeling that many executives have when they are let go by an organization.
24-second violation. Timeout has been taken. We'll be back in a moment. About that.
Al, I can say that my focus is on the Knicks versus the Bulls, and that's where my focus is. And we have our hands full with a team that's a very, very good team that's focused, and this is where my concentration is.
If I went on the air and said John McLeod met with Notre Dame officials over this past weekend, would I be wrong?
I would say to you that my focus right now is on the Knicks versus the Bulls, and this is what I want to talk about, and this is where I want my attention and energy to be.
Well, I guess John McLeod did not want to answer Al's question.
Nice for John in the situation that he's in to be sought after, as it appears he is. It's also interesting, Marv, no one ever talks about the assistant coaches. You know, usually the head coach appoints the assistant coaches, but Paul Silas, Jeff Van Gundy, and Bob Salmi also have a lot to be concerned about right now. And on a personal note, I would just like to say I've never had the pleasure of working with a finer staff than John McLeod had this year, and Stu Jackson also in that category in a very big way. Terrific people to work for, unselfish, sharing of their knowledge. It certainly made my position a lot easier.
Yeah, a terrific bunch. Unfortunately, the wins and losses did not come. That is not always the reflection of the coaching staff. Here's Paxson. But yeah, I agree, right from Stu Jackson on. It's a great bunch of people. And whether they will return or not, a major question as Tucker hits the three. I would think it is unlikely. I would think with new people coming in, they want a new image. And I understand both sides of the picture there. John McLeod is an excellent professional coach, classy guy. And from Dave Checkett's and Ernie Grunfeld's point of view, you want to start fresh. And John McLeod is not their guy. Here's Paxson. And the Bulls with a 101-88 lead as they wind it down. This crowd has been kind, I think compassionate. I was expecting more of a negative reaction should the Knicks go down, and they have not gone down strong. Purdue able to hit. Will Perdue with 16 points, along with 10 rebounds. He has not allowed Bill Cartwright to get back into the game. 103-88 the score. Here's Ewing. And he does get the sarcastic roar. 18 for Ewing, who has had another invisible ball game. 103-90 as we come up on 1 minute to go in this 1990-91 New York Knicks season. And it will be the Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers in the next round of the playoffs. Sixers knocking off Milwaukee 121-100 as they swept the Bucks. Ewing, 103-92 with 40 seconds remaining.
Bulls thought they'd get a break. They expected Milwaukee to win this one tonight. They were looking to a nice rest should they win this game, but much to their surprise, and anyone who observes the NBA, the Sixers have really come on strong.
Chicago Bulls making it 10 straight wins against the club they have owned. And that's an intriguing series. Charles Barkley going up against Michael Jordan. And now Gwinnett, Mustaf check in. Ewing and Starks sit down. Livingston back on the floor. Michael Jordan will depart. Jordan put this game out of sight with a red-hot third quarter, and he leaves with 33 points. 19 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan hears it from the crowd.
As much of a team effort as it was tonight by the Bulls, in many ways you can make a case for he was the difference.
Here's Jackson for Mustaf. 103-94 Bulls. Down to 10 seconds remaining. Crowd has been filing out throughout the fourth quarter. It is a three-game sweep for the Chicago Bulls in methodical fashion. The blowout in game number one will count no. As Pittman hit from center court, he banked it home, but it will not count. The Bulls win game one by 41. They grind out an 89-79 victory on Sunday. And they win here by taking over in the second half, 103-94. So this New York Knicks season has concluded. They go 39-43 during the regular season, and they are wiped out in the first round of the playoffs by the Bulls. And the question is this the last we will see of John McCloud as the New York Knicks head coach?
Those who have had the pleasure of knowing John, if that should be the case, will certainly miss him. As John Cirillo, the Knicks director of communications, said to me a couple of weeks ago, he said, I've met a lot of nice people, but I don't think I've met a nicer person in my life than John McCloud. And it's nice to think that he's being referred to now as a basketball coach alone, not just a nice person.
Final score again, the Bulls 103, the Knicks 94. We'll be back to recap in a moment.